Hi there. If you've been teaching for a while, you know that sometimes students don't turn in an assignment. So, I have a couple of teaching tips that can help communication and help students really see where they are in the course. So, first of all, if a student doesn't turn an assignment in, I immediately put a zero into the grade book. So, we use an online course management software. Like you can see on my screen, we use Blackboard. So immediately put that zero in, even if you haven't graded the other students' papers. The students typically have alerts set up where they can see when a professor puts a grade in, and they'll be alerted immediately that you did not receive a submission from them. And you don't have to have any kind of an extra email exchange with them. It's just immediately, it's automatic, and the grade's in there already. If that item was submitted and perhaps mistakenly you did not receive it, it also allows the student to then immediately contact you and say, what happened on their end, and you guys can figure that out. Also, it gives a chance for partial credit according to whatever you have as a late policy in your syllabus. So, the sooner you can let a student know you did not turn this in, this is a zero. If you have a late policy, for example, that will allow someone to turn something in a day late for 10% off, or 2 days late for 20% off, etc., it gives them the maximum amount of time for them to be able to get that assignment into you. The other thing that can be really helpful, and this is a secondary tip that I'm going to show you how to do, is to make sure that the student immediately knows what impact a zero has on their grade. That can really help, especially if you have what I talked about earlier with the late policy where you will accept it, but the credit keeps going down. It helps them see the importance of actually getting those assignments in. It can also help them make better informed decisions as they go along. So let's say, even if you don't have a late policy that allows students to turn it in, they'll be much less likely to not turn in something the next time around when they can see the impact on their grade. One key part for them to be able to see this is to make sure that you're grading, that you have a secondary grade display on their cumulative grade that gives them the percentage. So, for example, you can see on my screen here, and if I go to Full Grade Center, this is just a tester class that I have. You'll see that I have a total right here. So, whatever course management software that you have, you should be able to see a total screen that totals all the grades up for the students. Sometimes, as professors, we think that students will be able to look at a point total and know exactly where they are in the class. Unfortunately, some students are not thinking about the total points in the class or the total points that they could have gotten. And so they have no idea where they are on a percentage scale. So it's super important if you can go into your total, and if you go to, in this case, edit column information, you've got what here is the total. So this is typically right here where it says primary display, and that's the score. So that's the number of points. Again, that's typically what we have. It's very important to go in and put a secondary display. And you can toggle this down and you can decide, do you want to show a letter grade or do you want to show a percentage? I typically choose to show a percentage. And that way, every time the student turns something in, they're going to see both that point value and what their current percentage is in the class. So those are two tips to help in this situation.